The following game is being played with History Maker Baseball Express, a product of Play Games LLC, copyright 2022, all rights reserved. If you would like to order a copy of History Maker Baseball Express, or if you would like to check out the other products offered from Play Games, please click on the link provided in the description box below. Welcome back, everyone, to yet another series in this Gauntlet challenge. As you can see on the top right-hand corner of the screen, this is Series 6 of the 1927 Yankees Gauntlet Challenge, with the 1927 Yankees leading this project with 3 series wins and losing only 2 series. Ironically, both to New York teams. One is the 2018 Mets, and the other is the 1985 Yanks. And as you can see, we have yet another series with the New York Mets. This time, we get to see the New York Mets of 1975 for Game 1 for this series. And without any further delay, your pitching matchup for Game 1 will be Wadey Hoyt going at it for the 1927 Yanks against the late great Tom Seaver for pitching for the 1975 Mets. Lineups have been exchanged at home plate, and the fans are ready. Wadey Hoyt is ready. Dale Unzer is ready. And let's get to it from Yankee Stadium here in the Bronx. 1-4-6. Is Wadey Hoyt an ace pitcher? He is a semi-ace. The decider die says he is an ace. That is going to be a no-runs result. Yes, no-runs result of 4 dot, and that's going to end the top half of the first for the 75 Mets. Here's Earl Combs to now take his cracks at Tom Seaver. 2-6-6. Is Seaver a star pitcher? No, he is not. Is Earl Combs a champion batter? Earl Combs is a semi-champion. The decider die says he is a champion, so that's going to end up being a men on base result with a base running adjustment off of the black die. And of course, Earl Combs does not have a running quality. His running quality is blank or neutral, as I would say. And it will be having him going to second base with a 2 and a 6 will be a leadoff double off of my optional men on base chart that I have created for this series or for this project. Mark Koenig will stand up to the plate now here in the bottom half of the first off of the mob chart. Reading the black and blue dice as such of a 46. Same a reliever gets to strike out. Now, when we mean same, it is righty versus righty, lefty versus lefty. So in this case here, since Mark Koenig is a switch hitter, he bats both hands Since there's a right-handed pitcher on the mound, he is batting left-handed. So therefore, Tom Seaver will not get the strikeout, and we will go to the contact result of a red die 6, and I refer to the red die, I roll all 3 dice just to save time, and we have ourselves a contact roll of 6, which will be a ground out, and that's going to end the bottom half of the first inning. And after 1 inning of play, we have no score as we head to the top half of the second inning here at Yankee Stadium. Here's Felix Milan. 115. Is Wadey Hoyt a struggler pitcher? No, he is not. Is Milan a utility batter? No, he is not. That is going to be a men on base result, -1 from black die if the pitcher has flash. Wadey Hoyt does not have flash, so that's going to be putting the runner on first with a 1-1. Milan's going to be aboard via a catcher's interference off of my optional men on base chart, optional men on base narrative chart. And the Yankees are not too happy with that call by the home plate umpire, as Pat Collins stuck his catching mitt out too far and got nicked by the bat of Felix Milan. And Ed Kranepool will see what he can do if he can bring him in, get the 75 Mets on the board. Oh, he may do so right here with a 15. Scrapper hits a double. Kranepool is a semi-scrapper. However, the decider die says he is not. And what did I tell you? The Mets, Ed Kranepool is going to hit a 2-run home run towards the left field bleachers and gone. And the 75 Mets take a 2-0 2-0 lead here as we head to the bottom half of the second with the score 1975 Mets 2 and the 1927 Yankees nothing. Babe Ruth looking to put the 1927 Yankees on the board as they are down by 2. And we have a triple threes. So this is going to be an experience check. And it seems I forgot to bring out my charts here. So we have an experience check, and we will re-roll the blue die. And we got a 4. And it reads, do we have a prospect pitcher? Tom Seaver is not a prospect pitcher, so that is going to end up being a no-runs result of 3 dots, and that will do it for the second inning here at Yankee Stadium with your score, 1975 Mets 2, and the 1927 Yankees zip. We head to the third with Rusty Staub up at the plate. 466. Is Hoyt a workman pitcher? No, he is not. Is Rusty Staub a hero batter? Staub is a semi-hero. The decider die says he is not a hero, so that's going to end up being a no-runs result with a chance for a solo home run. However, the black die is not a 6, and Rusty Staub is a semi-slugger, and it will end up being a no-runs result of 6 dot to end the top half of the third, with your score still 2-0 in favor of the 1975 New York Mets. Dice. It wouldn't be a video without me dropping one of the dice. Lou Gehrig will lead off on the bottom half of the third with a 3.35. Is Seaver a struggler pitcher? No, he is not. Is Lou Gehrig a champion batter? Lou Gehrig is a champion batter, so that's going to end up being a men on base result with a base running adjustment. In this case, we don't, so no adjustment is necessary as Lou Gehrig's running quality is neutral. So it's going to end up being a men on base 3 result, and it's a player's choice of putting the runners either on first and second or putting the runner at third. The score is 2-0 in favor of the 1975 Mets. I really don't want to have the 1927 Yankees get too greedy, so we're going to put the runners on first and second, and we will re-roll. Let me just double check. 3-3-5. No, so we won't be re-rolling the decider die, so that is going to end up being either a back-to-back singles or back-to-back walks. Dot is back-to-back. Again, back-to-back singles is a dot. Back-to-back walks is a blank. In this case here, we have a dot. So Lou Gehrig, the Iron Horse, Lou Gehrig, will get the back-to-back singles over his first 2 plate appearances. And that's going to bring up Bob Musial up at the dish against Tom Seaver off of the men on base chart. Reading the black and blue dice as such of a 34. Slugger hits double. Unfortunately, Bob Musial is not a slugger, so that's going to end up being a single, and the 1927 Yankees get on the board with an RBI. Runners advance 2 bases, so the runner on second will score, while the runner on first will move to third, and that's going to do it for the bottom half of the third. As the 1927 Yankees do get on the board, but they trail by only 1 run with the score of 2-1 in favor of the 1975 New York Mets. Here's Dave Kingman to lead off the 4th inning against Wadey Hoyt. 2-3-4. Is the pitcher not fresh? Now, the way that I work with this question is this. Since we're in the semi-fresh innings, we will have to look at the decider die here, and that will tell us if he is fresh or not. So with asking that, yes is dot, blank is no. So, but for this question, is the pitcher not fresh? Blank, I still go by the same yes or no question, but if he is not fresh, it'll say a blank. If he is still fresh, it will say a dot. So in this case here, is the pitcher not fresh? The decider die says he is still fresh, so we move on to the batter check for Dave Kingman off of 2-3-4, which is he a sad sack? 2-3-4. Yes. Is Dave Kingman a sad sack batter? No, he is not. So that is going to be a men on base result, -1 for black die of control. Wadey Hoyt does have control, and that black die 3 will be reduced to a black die 2, and that's going to put the runner on second base with a 2 and a 2. And it's going to be an official scorer's decision, and we'll have to re-roll the decider die since it was used for the freshness check. And it will be a single and an error for Dave Kingman. So he reached base via a hit and advanced to second on either a pickoff error or a throwing error to first as the pitcher was trying to pick him off. Or it could be a fly out in the or in the outfield. Someone was blinded by the lights here at Yankee Stadium, but who knows what could have happened. So Dave Kingman is on second, and Joe Torre will now be the batter to roll off of the men on base chart for the 1975 Mets. Reading the black die and blue die as such of a 66. Scrapper hits single. Joe Torre is not a scrapper, so that's going to be a double for Joe Torre, and that's going to put the 1975 Mets, increase the lead for the 1975 Mets, as the score now is 3-1 in favor of the amazing Mets of 1975. And we go to Jerry Grote. I think that's how you pronounce it. Grote, but please let me know if I'm saying that right in the comments, if you guys are a Mets fan. 14, scrapper hits single. Jerry Grote is a scrapper. He will hit a single, and unfortunately that is going to be all, as the 1975 Mets do squeeze out a run here in the fourth inning. And the score now is 1975 Mets 3 and the 1927 Yankees 1. We go to the bottom half of the fourth, and Tony Lazzeri will lead off against Tom Seaver. 4-5-6. And again, here's the same question: is pitcher not fresh? Tom Seaver is still fresh, courtesy of the dot on the decider die. And we will move on to Tony Lazzeri's check of a champion batter. He is a champion. He is a semi-champion. We'll need to re-roll the decider die if he is. He is not. So that is going to be a no-runs result with a chance for a solo home run. However, the black die is not a 6, and Tony Lazzeri is a semi-slugger, so no home run, and we will be having a no-runs result of 4 blank to end the fourth inning here at the stadium. With your score, 1975 Mets 3 and the 1927 Yankees 1. We move on to Mike Phillips to lead things off here for the 1975 Mets here in the top half of the fifth. 3-4-5. Is Wadey Hoyt a star pitcher? No, he is not. Is Mike Phillips a sad sack batter? No, he is not. So that is going to be a men on base result, -1 for black die if the pitcher has flash or control. Wadey Hoyt has control, so that black 4 will be reduced to a black die 3, and the Mets are already leading this game, and they are going to play it safe, hoping to not get greedy and get more runs the easy way, but they want to get runs the hard way. So we will put the runners on first and second, and the decider die was not used. No. Yeah, so the decider die was not used, and it will be back-to-back walks for Mike Phillips in his 2 plate appearances. Here's Del Unser off of the men on base chart. Reading the black and blue die as such again of a 45. Fresh pitcher gets the ground out. Wadey Hoyt is semi-fresh. The decider die says he is still fresh, so he's going to get the ground out, and that will do it for the 1975 Mets here in the top half of the fifth. We head to the bottom half of the fifth with the same score of 3-1 in favor of the 1975 Mets. Move on now to Tom Seaver turn as he heads back out to the mound, and he will be facing off against Joe Duggan for his half of the fifth inning. 146. Is Seaver an ace or dynamic pitcher? Tom Seaver is a semi-ace pitcher. However, the decider die says he is not an ace pitcher. So we now go to the batter check of, is Duggan a sat sack batter? He is not. So that's going to end up being a men on base result, -1 for black die of control. Since the decider die was used, we're going to have to determine if Seaver has control. He has semi-control, and he does. So it's going to be reducing that black die 4 to a black die 3. And again, we will put the runners on first and second. We'll re-roll the decider die once again to determine what Joe Duggan got over his first 2 plate appearances. It'll be back-to-back singles for Joe Duggan. And that will make room off of the men on base chart for Pat Collins. Again, rated the black and blue dice as such of a 56. Patient draws the walk. Pat Collins is a semi-patient batter. The decider die says he is not patient, so that's going to be a contact result of a red die 5, and it reads, is Pat Collins a champion batter? Unfortunately for Pat Collins, he is not a champion batter, so that's going to end up being a pop-out to end the 5th inning here at Yankee Stadium 1 with the score of 3-1 in favor of the 1975 New York Mets. And we're going to see if both pens are starting to get loose, even though the score is still, even though I'm not going to be taking either starter out just yet. But let's just see if the pens are active at getting loose, just in case if someone falters here in these late innings. Let's start with the Mets. They are not. They're putting faith in Tom Seaver. What about the Yankees? And they are. So senses are telling the Yankee 1927 Yanks manager that something may be brewing here. So just in case that if there was, the bullpen is active for the Yanks. As we head now to the top half of the 6th, as Wadey Hoyt will probably go through his last inning of work as the bullpen is getting ready and getting active in case something really bad happens here in this half inning. So Felix Milan will lead it off here in the top half of the 6th against Wadey Hoyt. 3-4-6 is pitcher not fresh. Wadey Hoyt is in the semi-fresh innings. However, the decider die says he is still fresh. So we move on to Milan's check of a hero batter, and he is a hero. He is a semi-hero. The decider die was used, and he is a hero. And Milan is a hero batter, so that's going to be a men on base result, -1 from, not -1, with a base running adjustment symbol, I should say. And Milan is stoic, so that is going to end up being taking the black die from a 4 to a black die 3. And we will put the runners on first and second, and we'll need to re-roll the decider die. And Milan will get back-to-back walks for his 2 plate appearances. And here's Ed Kranepool, who last time up hit a 2-run home run to put his team in the lead 2-0. It's now 3-1 since then. And it looks like the pitching coach is on his way out to the mound along with his catcher. And we want to remind everyone that if you guys are new to the channel, First off, I welcome you all. If you are new subscribers to the channel, if you like the content that you see, or if you're a non-subscriber yet, and if you like the content that you see on this video or any other one of my videos that I have right now on the channel, please do consider subscribing, sharing with your friends, and if they like baseball or any sports or anything that I can think of, please do consider subscribing, as I will be posting some future content here on my channel in the near future. So with that being said, the mound visit is already broken up, and we now head to Ed Kranepool's at bat off of the men on base chart. Oh, thank God it's not a 15. So it's going to be a 34 this time. And again, I read the black and blue dice as such of a 34. Slugger hits double. Unfortunately for Mr. Kranepool, he is not a slugger. So that's going to be a single and an RBI to put the 1975 Mets lead, or excuse me, extend the 1975 Mets lead to 4-1, courtesy of the Ed Kranepool RBI single, moving the runner on second to home and moving the runner on first to third, and that is going to do it for the 6th inning here at the stadium. With the score now, 1975 Mets 4 and the 1927 Yankees 1. And now we roll off of Earl Combs here on the main chart as we head to the bottom half of the 6th at the stadium. 446. Is Seaver a star pitcher? He is not. Is Kranepool Earl Combs, I should say, is he a hero batter? He is a hero batter, so that's going to end up being a men on base result with a base running adjustment, and unfortunately that there will be no adjustment needed, as we will put the runners on first and third, and the decider die was not used, so that is going to end up being for Earl Combs to collect 2 hits over that men on base roll. And the way that I do it is I will roll the red die that I have in my hand. With a 1 or a 6 is a solo home run. A 2 or a 5 is a single. A 3 is a triple. And a 4 is a double. And Earl Combs is going to collect 2 hits. It's going to be a double for his first hit with a 4. And a home run for his second hit. And again, if you roll a 1 or a 6, it is considered a solo home run and an RBI. So the score is now 4-2 still in favor of the 1975 Mets. And we go now to the men on base chart to roll for Mark Koenig, for Mark Koenig's turn off of the men on base chart. And again, reading the black and blue dice is such of a 36. Active batter gets runners advance, 2 bases, single, and a stolen base. Now, this one can be really confusing. So the way that I played it is looking at the current batter's running quality, because I know active is a running quality. So for Mark Koenig, he is not active, so that's going to be a contact result of a red die 3, and it reads, is Koenig a sad sack or utility batter? He is neither, so that's going to push the, I forgot to swap to the bottom half of the 6th, there we go. It will be an RBI for Mr. Mark Koenig, and That'll push the 1927 Yankees even closer. The score now is 4-3, and that's going to push the Yanks manager to give Wadey Hoyt another inning to see if he can hold on until he is given the lead, because we want to get him the win here in this game. So with that being said, we go now to the my optional RBI chart. Since the decider die was not used, the decider die was not used, I believe. Active batter, so he's not. So no. So for the RBI, micro RBI, or RBI question mark results, what I do is for my narrative, for stat, I am keeping stats. If you are asking, I do as such. So what you do is on an RBI question mark result, you would, and if the decider die says dot, you give the batter, you will give the batter the RBI, and you're going to roll the decider die again. If the decider die was not used, and if it was a micro RBI, you still give it the RBI, and if the decider die was used, you refer to that. So in this case, for Mark Koenig, he will get a hit or sacrifice, and I will read this blue die here for the result of a 3, which will be an RBI double for Mark Koenig, and that will do it for the bottom half of the 5th, as 1 run will score, and they will hold out the other runner at 3rd to end the 6th inning, and it's going to force the Yanks manager to keep Wadey Hoyt in this game, to hopefully keep the score right where it is, to give the 1927 Yankees a chance to come back in this game here in Game 1 of this series. We head to the top half of the 6th, top half of the 7th, and Rusty Staub will lead it off here in the Mets top half of the 7th. 1-1-2. Is Wadey Hoyt an ace pitcher? He's a semi-ace. The decider die says he is not. Is Staub a stat sack batter? No, he is not. So that's going to force an RBI question mark result again. So if you're the Yanks, you want a blank, because if you get a dot, it's going to push the Yanks. It's going to push the Mets lead even further. Oh, and Rusty Staub gets the dot. So that's going to be an RBI for Rusty, and let's see what he gets from that RBI question mark result for the RBI result narrative. A hit or a sacrifice, and wouldn't you know, it is a blue die 1, so Rusty Staub is going to hit one high, far, and gone out of the stadium, maybe out to Monument Park here at Yankee Stadium. And that's going to put, oh man, and of course, the Yanks manager gambled and lost there, as the 1975 Mets now lead this game by a score of 5-3 as we head to the stretch here at Yankee Stadium. Oh my goodness. This is a really hard-fought back-and-forth game between these two teams. Tough pitching by both sides. As you can tell by the score, 5-3. It's close, only by 2 runs, but let's see what happens in the bottom half of the 7th, as Babe Ruth, the Bambino, will lead it off here in the bottom half of the 7th. 2-3-6. Is Seaver a struggler or gilded pitcher? No, he is not. Is Babe Ruth a stat sack batter? No, he is not. So that's going to be an RBI question mark result. And unfortunately, the decider die says, no, sir. Babe Ruth does not get the RBI. So that is going to be a no runs result of 3 dots to end the 7th inning altogether, and that is going to be all she wrote for Wadey Hoyt as well in this game. So the 1927 Yanks will make a pitching change, and we will take a timeout. Bob Shockey will be the new 1927 Yanks pitcher coming out of the pen, as he will be considered the bullpen hero and will remain fresh for the remainder of this game. And he will face off against Dave Kingman to lead off the top half of the 8th inning here for the 1975 New York Mets. 1-2-5. It says pitcher not fresh. Well, again, he is the bullpen hero. He is fresh, so we are going to skip that question. Is Dave Kingman a champion batter? Kingman is not a champion, so that is going to end up being a no-runs result of 2 blank, and hence the decider die was not used since we skipped the pitcher is not fresh question. And that's going to end the top half of the 8th here at Yankee Stadium with the score 1975 Mets 5 and the 1927 Yanks 3. And let's see if that bullpen is active for the Mets this time around, as Tom Seaver is still going to head back out to the mound, but just in case if he falters, there will be some action going. But let's see if it is for the 1975 Mets. Nope, as they have put faith in Tom Seaver to give them a chance to win this game against the Iron Horse, Lou Gehrig. 1-1-6. Is Seaver a struggler pitcher? No, he is not. Is Lou Gehrig a utility batter? He is not. That's going to end up being an RBI question mark result. However, the decider die says no RBI, Mr. Gehrig. So that's going to end up being a no-runs narrative result of 1 dot. Oh, and I forgot to switch to the bottom half of the 8th, but there we go. And again, Seaver said no to a struggler. Gehrig said no to a utility batter check, and no on the RBI. So in the end, it's going to end up being a no-runs result again of 1 dot to end the 8th inning all together here in Game 1. And we go to the 9th inning here at the stadium by that same score of 5-3 in favor of the 1975 New York Mets. Here is Joe Torre to lead it off. 3-3-5. Is Shockey a struggler pitcher? No, he is not. Is Joe Torre a champion batter? Nuh-uh. So that's going to be a no-runs result of 5 blank to end the top half of the 9th. And the Mets manager is going to allow Tom Seaver to rest his pen for the next games, in the upcoming games in this series, as the Mets take it to the bottom half of the 9th with the score 5-3, with the 1975 Mets in the lead. Tom Seaver will stand up on the mound facing Bob Musial. Triple fives. Oh, it's going to be an experience check. So we are going to use the blue die here and roll the experience and roll off of the experience microchart. It's a 6, and it reads, do we have an icon batter or prospect pitcher? Unfortunately, we have an icon batter, but no prospect pitcher. So either way, we have an icon batter. That's going to be a minimum base result of 5. And this game is not over yet, folks, as the Yankees will not, 1927 Yanks will not go quietly, as they have runners now on second and third And it looks like the decider die was not used, so it's going to end up going to the multiple runners on base with a red die of 5. You could use, and again, you could use any die that you want if you're using my optional men on base narrative charts. We'll read the red die 5. It will be a single and a stolen base for Bob Musel in one appearance, an error in the second appearance, and he walked in his third appearance. This game has gotten interesting, folks, as the 1975 Mets and Tom Seaver, and I believe the Mets manager regrets getting that bullpen active, but we do see some action down there, down at Monument Park, down past Monument Park in the bullpen, or either down the right field line or the left field line, wherever the bullpens are at old Yankee Stadium 1 back in the day, as Tony Lazzeri now stands up to the plate against Tom Seaver to hopefully either tie the game and possibly walk things off here in Game 1. Reading the black and blue dice as such, gold fielder makes the out. Jerry Grody is a semi-gold fielder. The decider die says he is not gold. That is going to be an error on the 1975 Mets. And that's going to push home a run as the runners advance one base. And the score now is 5-4, still in favor of the 1975 Mets, as Tony Lazzeri gets on base via an E2 by the catcher, Jerry Grody, as he was flipped for the next guy up in the Mets stack. And Joe Duggan now will be rolling off the men on base chart to hopefully win this game, to potentially tie and maybe win the game for the 1927 Yanks to take a 1-0 series lead. Black and blue die, 14. Scrapper hits a single. That will tie the game, folks. Unbelievable. Down 5-3. They score 2 runs here in the bottom half of the 9th inning, and that is going to end up taking this game into extra innings. Oh my goodness. What a comeback by the 1927 Yankees to tie the game up at 5 as we head to extra innings with the score of 5-all between the 1927 Yanks and the 1975 New York Mets. Bob Shockey will head back out to the mound against Mike Phillips to lead off the top half of the 10th here at Yankee Stadium 1 with the score 5-all. Top of the main chart, 3-4-6. Pitcher is still fresh because he's the bullpen hero. Is Mike Phillips a hero batter? He is not. That's going to be a no-runs result of 6 dots. And that will do it for the top half of the 10th here for the 1975 Mets. And all they need from the 1927 Yanks is to keep the score tied and not get into any danger. But let's see if Tom Seaver is willing to go for the top half of the 10th. Oh my God, he is. Alrighty then. The die is cast. The bets are in. The manager of the Mets, of the 1975 Mets, is counting on Tom Seaver to keep this game right where it is if they want to extend this game to the 11th inning, and Pat Collins is standing in the way. 145. Is Seaver an ace or dynamic pitcher? Tom Seaver is a semi-ace. However, the decider die says he is not an ace. So that's going to end up being a batter check of sad sack for Pat Collins. He is not a sad sack batter. It's going to be a -1 for black die if flash mob result. And Tom Seaver has flash. And folks, I don't know what else to say. We're going to the 11th inning as it'll be a result of 4. Decider die was not used. Yes, decider die was not used. Of 4 blank, no runs narrative result. And we now head to the 11th inning here at Yankee Stadium 1 in game 1 of this series, with the score tied up at 5-all. Del Unser will lead things off against Bob Shockey here in the top half of the 11th. 3-3-5. Shockey, a struggler pitcher. No, he is not. Unser is a champion batter. No. And it will be a no runs result of 5 blank. And again, another chance for the 1927 Yanks to hopefully walk things off against Tom Seaver. As we all know, the Mets manager may go to the pen at some point here, but let's see if he is willing to do so here with Tom Seaver. Nope, he's not going to go to the pen, as he is trusting him to hopefully keep this game right where it is. He's still clinging on to that bet he made as soon as this game went to extras. 166. You guys can see that is a 1. There it is. 166. Is Seaver an ace pitcher? Seaver is an ace, semi-ace pitcher. The decider die says yes, he is an ace. That is going to end up being a no-runs result of 1 blank. As I forgot to switch to the bottom half of the 11th. There we go. It'll be a no-runs result of 1 blank to end the 11th inning. And folks, we now go to the 12th as we are trying to figure out who is going to be the hero here in game 1 to put their team up 1-0 in the series. We head to the top half of the 12th, and Felix Milan will lead it off. 146. Is Bob Shockey an ace or dynamic pitcher? No, he is not. Is Milan a sad sack batter? He is not. That is going to end up being a minimum base result, -1 for black die of flash, and the Mets will get the runners on base as Bob Shockey does have flash as semi-flash. The decider die says yes, he does. So that's going to put the runners on second and third. And we will go to the multiple runners on base chart, reading a 1 on a 5. It'll be back-to-back walks in 1 appearance and a double and an RBI in the second appearance for Milan off of the men on base result. Oh my goodness. The New York Mets now take a 6-5 lead here in the top half of the 12th off of my optional men on base narrative chart. And let's see if Ed Kranepool can add on some more here, as both pitchers are so tired. out here right now. 26. Reading the blue and black die as such, again, of a 26. Home run king, it's home run. Unfortunately, Ed Kranepool is not a home run king, so that's going to be a contact result of 2. Is Kranepool a sad sack batter? No, he is not. And folks, the 1975 Mets now take a 7-5 lead here in the top half of the 12th. And it looks like the Mets manager is going to pull the string right here and right now as Tom Seaver, he goes over to him while the Mets were in the dugout. He shook his starting pitcher's hand. He is going to go to his closer as we will be taking a timeout with the score 1975 Mets 7 and the 1975 Mets 7 and the 1927 Yankees 5. Bob Apodaca, I think that's how you pronounce it, will be coming into the ball game now for the save situation here in the bottom half of the 12th. And Mark Koenig is standing in his way of that save. 1-2-5. Again, we skip the pitcher not fresh. As Apodaca is the bullpen hero pitcher, so he is fresh. Is Mark Koenig a champion batter? He is not, and that is going to be your ball game, folks, with a no runs result of 5. And finally, in the 12th inning, the 1975 Mets squeeze out 2 runs to win to take game 1 of this series by a final score of 7-5.